For the tournament, we have a special restriction to it. The restriction is that we are going to have to build a deck using a commander that is specifically from Dominaria United. So for our choice, I figured one of the best cards actually is one of the uncommons, Tatyova, Steward of Tides. So for double green and a blue, land creatures you control have flying. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to one target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature. With haste, it's still a land. This means all we have to do is just ramp. Just search our deck for lands, throw them in play, and we have our attacking force. To help our idea, we go with a whole bunch of like early ramp cards. So we have ourselves still our Mystic and Llanowar Elf because they're just great 1-drops because it's something to do turn 1. But as early as turn 2, we can play something like Into the North to search for a land, put it straight into play. We have Nissa's Triumph to search for any basic force to add to hand. And adding to hand is still very useful to our deck because this means that we can try to control the amount of lands that we put into play before we go Tatyova to board. So that way we can then build up the triggers. Cards that help us with also playing lands, extra lands per turn. We have Dryad of Leeson Grove, as well as Azusa. We're not actually using the Enchantment Saga to help with extra land drops with this deck. But we also do have like Growth Spiral and the new Joint Exploration as ways to draw cards and potentially play extra lands in turn. We have You Happen Upon a Glaive because, like Nissa's Triumph, it allows us to add 2 lands to hand as an option, but we also do have the possibility of just using this to add any permanent from our graveyard back to our hand. We do actually run Crucible of Worlds because there is a chance for us to use things like Field Passage, Evolving Wilds, Broker's Hideout, and just be able to get extra land drops each turn by just keep replaying that land from our graveyard. So I figured that was a strong combo. And because we're using that, we also have the Raminat Excavator. Exact same thing allows us to play our lands from our graveyard. Because we do use a number of creatures that either enter the battlefield, go get us land, or make it so that we can play lands, extra lands, or lands from top of our deck, things like that. We do actually run also Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. So that way all of our creatures will also count towards lands. So that way when we bring them to the board, we'll help get these landfall triggers. As another thing, we are actually running regular Tatyova from the first Dominaria set because it's just extra card draw, life gain. Could help the deck idea as well. So that's a bit of the idea of a lot of the cards. To actually go for a burst of value that could actually end a game, we actually do have Scapeshift in the deck. So we can sacrifice any number of lands, search our library for that many land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Now, the thing is, this does put them onto the battlefield tapped, so we won't be able to use those new lands that come into play as ways to kill our opponent unless we did like a dramatic reversal in the deck to untap for a combo. But I decided not to try to include that. I do like the idea of still using Scapeshift because it means that we could sacrifice up to X lands and be able to animate a whole bunch of other lands that could push the lethal. So I figured that is a still decent enough combo. Oh, one thing to also make note of. Tatyova, Steward of Tides. It allows you to target any land you control to turn into a 3/3 elemental, even if it already is a creature. So if you combine it with Nissa, who shakes the world, have Nissa untap one of your lands, make it a 0/0 with 3+1/+1 counters on it. Then you land drop. You can use Tatyova and animate into a 3/3, effectively having yourself a 6/6 flying creature now. So, and if, but I did forget to actually go over this. Tatyova's ability passive is land creatures you control have flying, so that's why I figure they will work amazingly. Now, since Nissa is our only Planeswalker in the deck, I am running the Immortal Sun, give us the extra card draw value. If we accidentally shut off Nissa, it's not likely that we'll possibly, in a 100-card deck, come across them both, but it's still a maybe situation that could happen. we'll see. It's always depending on what's going on the board, whether we're okay with shutting off the Nissa pluses. But the thing is, it's getting the extra card draw and giving all of our creatures +1/+1 could be worthwhile to do that kind of a situation. Now, because we run primarily the goal of animating our lands into creatures, we are running cards like Cyclone Summoner, where it returns all permanents out of our hand except for Giants, Wizards, and lands. We also run cards like River's Rebuke, Consuming Tides. That way we can return all those cards that aren't lands that are creatures back to the hand, so that way our land creatures could potentially get a sudden strike in and be lethal to an opponent. Now, Consuming Tide does let the opponent keep one of their non-land permanents on board. But with this, that means that we can also keep Tatyova as our one non-land permanent, potentially, and make it so that way all of our lands that are still on board still are flying 3/3 creatures. So, I hope that makes sense on why I'm choosing a lot of these cards. To help support it out, we do have a lot of counter magic, some bounce. That way we can keep the opponent off the board or off their main cards. I forgot to add the Ancient Green Warden to this deck. I already submitted the deck list, so I can't update it. I just realized I forgot to add this to the deck. So the reason why this would have been a perfect add-in is it gives you double landfall triggers. So one land comes into play, we can animate 2 lands. We're able to play our lands from our graveyard. So it works just like a Crucible of Worlds. So I don't know why I didn't think about adding this until just now. Alright, so on the open, we actually have a pretty good set of lands here. And I actually kind of like this hand, so we'll keep this. Only drawback to this hand is we don't have the guaranteed 4th land source here, but Growth Spiral ramp into a Cultivator seems amazing. Alright, let's get the ramp on. Go ahead and put this onto the board. Oh yeah, one thing about Pathways. If you have a put on board effect, it's always going to be the front side of the card. So, it is a downside, but it's still perfectly fine. Let's get ourselves another blue source here. Botsies from our opponent. Oh no! Well, goodbye, Frilled Mystic. They may take the Consuming Tide, but I'm thinking they take the Mystic, yep. Opponent's going to go invading, huh? Let's see, so we don't have land 7 yet. To play for the turn, I mean. So let's actually leave Tatyova over there for right now. Go for our hearse. And I'll actually send the 3. Opponent's turn. Alright, Core Celebrant for our opponent. So this is a, whenever their creatures die, we lose life, they gain life. Let's go ahead and eat the Thoughtseize from the graveyard. Alright, we go for the Tatyova. Get that land drop. Animate the land. And we'll go swinging. We'll swing both. Now, the opponent does get to drain us 2 here for blocking with that. And they also get 1 life back thanks to the Cruel Celebrant. But I wanted to get it off the board just to keep it from growing. Adeline. That's, I mean, a good play for our opponent. Because they get a fair bit of drain against this, because it doesn't matter if that creature survives, we still lose life here. We'll actually go ahead and eat our graveyard. Alright, here we go. The Fabled Passage. The double animation. We'll go ahead and do this to that. Go get a green source here, and we'll animate a blue source. We'll send the Sky Troops. And next turn, we can probably just play Consuming Tide and swing in lethal. Assuming they don't have some kind of board wipe. Yawgmoth. Okay, so pay life, sacrifice another creature, put -1/-1 counters on things. Okay. Trying to think, how do I do this? Do I just Odawara bounce the Yawgmoth right now? Let's go ahead and crew first. Use Tatyova. We'll offer a block, offer a block. Because we can just eat the 2 cards from our graveyard, and that will keep Adeline from... Okay, resolve. Exile 2 cards from our... Oh, wait, we only have 1 card in our graveyard? Oh, that's fine. That's still enough to take out the Adeline. Okay. The opponent makes it so we can keep the Adeline. I'm fine actually giving up the vehicle here. Because we'll go Consuming Tides. They can only keep 1 of their non-land permanents. And we're going to choose our Tatyova. Land to board. Animate. Send it. I'm actually fine with losing Tatyova, so that way I can get the counter off of it. Because they're going to have to replay completely to the board. I actually shouldn't have sent the Tatyova. I accidentally hit attack all, so that was on me. There's no reason for me to do that. Okay, so Tatyova back to board. We play Odawara. Animate the Odawara. And that's lethal. Alright, it was a good match there. Alright, that's our first win. So we still need to get 1 more from this opponent in our best of 3. Okay, so I'm not in love with this hand, considering we know how the opponent's deck works. So we're just going to hit mulligan. I like this hand a lot more. We're gonna shock ourselves for the 2, go for the Llanowar Elf. I'm gonna see if... Actually, I think it's better for us to go for Rejuvenator over Augur of Autumn. That way, we have the potential of playing off the top of our deck right away. And getting the value immediately from Augur of Autumn, then let the opponent have a chance to interact with it. Alright, let's get ourselves another green source here. Alright, Welcoming Vampire will let our opponent draw. Now, it's only once each turn trigger, but still a lot of potential draw value for our opponent. Let's go for the Augur. Unfortunately, it's not a land on top, but we'll go with the... We'll put Fable Passage on board and pass. This means that we can manipulate the top of our deck a little bit. So if it's not a land on top, we can crack Passage and potentially allow us a reattempt for Augur of Autumn to give us a card draw. Although we do plan on playing Migration's Path anyways. So we could go probably Migration's Path first. See if we can get that land on top. But then yeah, I kind of want to see if we can maybe hold off on sacrificing Fabled Passage for when we get Tatyova to work. A little surprised the opponent didn't like sacrifice Thraben Inspector to the hidden stockpile, just that way they can scry and get the revolt trigger, get themselves a draw. Looks like they're thinking about doing that. Alright, so they sacrifice it for the 2 black mana off the Phyrexian Tower. So they'll get a card draw off the stockpile. I already forgot, though. They technically already got the draw trigger from that already. Let's go Migration's Path. Let's get ourselves double blue. Alright, we'll get ourselves another blue off top. And we'll pass. So we are now at the point where we can play Tatyova. And we can get ourselves 3 landfall triggers. In the same turn. See, this is whenever non-token creature dies, right? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna take the hits. Gonna hurt. Now, the opponent can just sacrifice the clue, get a card draw, and that will trigger the stockpile. I like how they have a lot of these synergies working for their deck. Alright, choosing to sacrifice that. Putting it in the graveyard is good for them because they can blitz it, so that way they can get the draw value. It also guarantees them triggers from Procession. Now, the Revolt trigger can only trigger once each turn, which is why I was thinking they might not sacrifice the creature right there. Let's see here. So let's go Tatyova. Go for the Evolving Wilds. Animate a land. That actually lets us play the elf off the top. We actually could play this Uro if we had another green source, but sadly, we're going to cycle Uro away. Get ourselves a green. Animate another land. I'm not going to sacrifice the Fabled. I really want that card. We'll pass it back. We're going to stay on the defense here. Because we're really low on life. Because the opponent can just sacrifice all their things at will to make us lose life thanks to their commander. Okay, underdog for our opponent. We'll sacrifice the Rejuvenator. Because Procession is another card that can only trigger once each turn. And since they're going to get a token from it anyways, might as well just offer the 1/1. Alright, what's their next play? Well, that's unfortunate. Alright. We'll let that resolve. We'll take action. I know that means that we're going to lose Nissa once we put it to the board. But let's see. So we can tap Lenore Elf, tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to think what's the best way to get Nissa to the board and be able to play Tatyova and get the value we're looking for. I wish I had that wash away in hand. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play Nissa.
We will not fail.
Play Tatyova. Untap the blue source. Oh, wait. Have I played a land from hand yet? No, I have not. So, green source to board. Animate. Animate.
The land shall conquer you.
Activate. Green source. Animate. Combat. Attack. I'm only attacking with the 1 just because I don't think they're going to block with the vampire, and I need the mana to send these away. Sadly, we don't have the value off of being able to play a card from our hand with mana value 4 or less here. And it'll be the opponent's turn. Now, all we have to do is just not get hit by a board wipe, and we should be able to punish a lot of damage on them. Alright, Yeheni. Yeheni doesn't do too much to us. It's a free sack outlet for them. Allows them to give him +1/+1 counters, and let's see, whenever a creature in opponent control dies, is when it gets +1/+1 counters. You sacrifice your creatures to give it indestructible. Alright, Extraction Specialist allows them to get back Underdog, or Thraben Inspector. Alright, they get the Inspector. Now, Yeheni, again, like I said, it's only when our creatures die is when it gets +1/+1 counters. Okay. So they give it the Indestructible. Where are they going to attack with it? They don't attack. Well, that's fine. Let's see here. Tap this. Untap it. Land. Animate this for being a 3/3. Now it's a 6/6. Play Storm the Festival. Get the 2 lands. Animates. Animates. Then the Air Squad. That's a lot of damage we're pushing in. They don't have any flyer, so they have to take it. So let's see, we're looking at 6, 12. They're giving us a GG's, but... Oh, that was enough! It was exact! I thought I was short, like, 3 damage there or something. But there we go. Yeah, there we go. Math is for the defenders, isn't that right? Oh boy, that was great. Alright, so let's see here. I think this is actually a pretty keepable hand. Got a little bounce interaction between these two. We have the ability to ramp, and we have the Immortal Sun. I don't know how well the Immortal Sun is going to work against a Azure deck, but we'll try keeping it. We will sacrifice this, and we'll go get ourselves a green source right away. Probably use the Omen of the Hunt to get ourselves a blue source. Bounty Agent for our opponent. Yeah, that's fine. Omen of the Hunt. Get a blue. Take action. They're going to use Curious Obsession on it. Okay. I guess we'll have to use a bounce spell then, just to get rid of the Curious Obsession. Let's just start off just using Fading Hope here. Okay, we want that, so we will play the Exploration. We don't kick it because we can only draw 1 card with it anyways. Okay, keep both on top. Go for it on another blue source since we have this, you know, coming off top for green. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this card, I'll just hold it up over here. This is a alchemy only card, so you can discard it, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent, draw a card, then you may exile 2 other cards named Kalimdor Emperor from your graveyard. When you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. When you discard Jin, conjure a copy of it, and it's 7th from the top of your library. That's unfortunate. So we're going to be forced to discard an artifact, instant, or sorcery. They do take our Immortal Sun, which we were going to try to put to the board this turn, but they beat us to it. Alright, let's go ahead and get Cultivator to the board. Let's actually go for... Trying to think, like, what's the better thing to do here. But go for Tatyova. Oh, you know, that's what I should have done. I should have played Cultivator. Then played... No, I still would have been short of mana. Either way, we were short 1. Oh well. Go for Cultivator. Because this is the land number 7 here. This is important because this would have been like, if Tatyova was on board, we would have been able to start getting our land drop effects. We'll just pass it back. So that way we can activate Omen of the Hunt to get the Scry 2. Also lets us hold up into the Royal in case our opponent tries to interact with maybe our Cultivator or anything else. The Zav. Ah. So you can pay X with the Zav and transform to any creature in your graveyard. So far they only have a 6 cost, but the important thing is you can surveil so you can like push a card off the top. Alright, Bounty Agent to the board. Get ourselves a Scry 2. Alright, we'll keep these. Go for the regular land on top first. Land, animate. Play Iteration, put that back into hand. Attack in. So, next turn, we can play the Hideout. Get ourselves 2 land triggers. And let's see, we get ourselves a card draw unless we return an artifact, which was exiled by this Larcenist. Why did you have to be exiled, Larcenist? Why? Oh, man. Alright. Unfortunately for Izzet, they seem to have been stuck on lands. Because they only have 4 there. We did do a little bit of ramping, but we didn't actually ramp that much. Alright, that's a Desperation Dig for lands, and they find it.
Dire times call for dire tactics.
Let's see. So we can animate 2. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of animation. How much damage are we going to send here? I'm actually trying to calculate this. This is gonna be a lot here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Regrowth. Sacrifice. One of each. Animate, animate. And they scoop. That's a lot of damage. Holy cow, how much were we going to send there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we were actually sending 21 points of damage, but they could block 1? Wow, yeah, no, that's crazy. Ah, jeez, this is such an awkward looking hand. I don't keep this one, right? Because we're missing the double green for Autumn. Crucible is good if we can get the fetch lands, but there's no guarantee we will. So we're going to send this one back. Alright, now if I had these fetch lands, I would have kept it, but this one's still just a straight up keep. Let's see, so when you start off with the Hideout, then we go for Breeding Pool, Land, Rejuvenator. Because I want to save the Evolving Wilds if I can for when this is on board. Get ourselves a blue source. Let's actually... We'll go for this land to the board. Make them think that we may have like something like a negate or any of those 2 mana cost counterspells. Alright, unfortunately they Spellbinder us. They probably will tax either the Dissipate or the Tatyova. They actually might just tax the Rejuvenator, but I'm thinking it's going to be one of these two. Yeah. So we hit a Sock coming. We'll take that action. We will get ourselves the Rejuvenator to the board. Grab ourselves another blue source. Next turn is going to be land and probably set up the Sock coming. No, just lands. That way we can maybe just dissipate straight up off the 5. Alright, pass it back. So is it though? Unfortunately, it looks like they missed another land drop. Now, they know that we have Counterspell Magic in the form of Dissipate over here. Now, I'm just wondering if we can get lucky enough to get Tatyova to the board. Please, no Counterspell. Oh, we get it to the board. That means we'll get this land draw trigger. Alright, they go for the immediate kill spell, which means I actually will sacrifice this now. They waited for me to sacrifice. Then we would have missed that second draw. But to be honest, I was just going to hold off of sacrificing until after they went for a potential kill spell on it. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have the ability to go Tatyova, land, animate one. Opponent gets Kalitas. Kalitas is an issue. But we have the ability to hold up Counterspell Magic here. So we should be good. Animate this. Pass it to the opponent. No, I'd rather you not. Alright, Portable Hole gets rid of the island, but we can always potentially get that back later. That's fine. Oh, wait, no, it can't get rid of the island. Oh, man. I was thinking it gets rid of the island, but it's worded non-land. And they made probably the same mistake I was thinking for a second there. Yes, I will sacrifice my land, get rid of the Kalitas. They still get the 2/2 token, but that's fine. Go for Azusa. Land drop. Animate. Land drop. Animate. Spring. Land. Animate. Pass it back to the opponent. I'm not sure why they say oops. Disdainful Stroke, Wandering Emperor. Where's all your enchantments for a Zerd deck? I feel like you're pretty light on your enchantments. Just the I'm attacking, give up. Because we can block a lot of these, no problems. None of their cards I'm afraid of Lazov turning into at the moment, because they don't have the mana for transforming into get. Let's see. Target card, feature card in your graveyard, mana value X. It's legendary, yeah. At this point, we'll move to combat. We'll send the things in the air. Might see a Spellbinder chump one for a trade, but nope, doesn't seem to be the case. Now we have both mana that we can use Dissipate or Sublime Epiphany here. Okay, that doesn't do anything. I think, is it forgot that it's an ETB? Yep, they forgot that it's an ETB. And there's the Shame Scoop. Oh, is it? Oh, alright, well, I mean, we definitely had the lockdown on is it here, so I can understand them giving up there, but it's a shame to see how the mighty Is It AB Cannon just is making the mistakes they are. Now also, they were playing a Zerd deck and hit no enchantments. Okay. This is an interesting hand. I think I'm gonna still keep it. Alright, Shambling Gas for our opponent. Not too worried about that. I am worried about this coming down and just plussing him right away. Well, let's go for the blue source. I wanted to play the green source so I can use Nissa's Triumph, and then I just remembered, like, we're against a Liliana. Yep. Let's see here.
Those who get in my way tend to regret it.
Back to hand. I want to keep the Immortal Sun. The Immortal Sun is important against them. We'll give up Epiphany since we're so far away from using it. Go for... This is tough. Go for blue source. Pass it back. I'll go for the blue source, that way I can use Brazen Borrower against them.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for
It's a little early flashing that in, but we'll go ahead and put it to the board. Gonna give up Tatyova.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Alright, I had cut down, so it didn't matter that I flashed it in when I did. Go for the Triumph. Get ourselves 2 forests. Now, next turn, it's probably going to be a
I'm tired of your secrets.
discard Shigeki. Alright, yep. So... Oh, actually... Yeah, we are going to discard Shigeki. Get to the board. Oh, hello! The crabs! Thank you for the raid! I see it's a small group tonight, but still thank you nonetheless. Alright, we'll offer a block here. We'll take the 2 in the air. How was your stream? I saw you're part of the event. I guess you got the buy from the round since you're already raiding. Alright, we'll give them the Shigeki. Go for the Immortal Sun. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, cool crew. Hey, Birthing Potters, nice to see you in here too. Yeah, I know we got you with the card a little bit. Go ahead and get some attacks over at the Lily.
Do not touch me again.
So, shame to hear that you got beat up so badly then. Got some new brews. Alright, well, I mean, nice to hear that you got new things going on. I would love to know what you tried to do. Alright, let's see. We get ourselves 2 lands here with this druid. Unfortunately, they both go to hand. Animate. Lands. Animate. Well, attack in. I just realized that I shouldn't have actually wasted an attack on the Lily, because this just shuts off the ability to be activated. Oh no! A Cavalier of Night! What are you going to destroy, opponent? My land? Okay. Land destruction for our opponent. Offer blocks? Actually, we don't need this Emerald Grove anymore, so we're fine if it dies. And it looks like we're going to get there on the value. So we'll storm the festival over Krasis. Get the Uro, get the forest. See, we have lands in graveyard, right? So play Excavator, play the land, animate the land, and there we go. Too much value. Man, this new Tatyova, I think, will replace the old Tatyova for a commander, just because, just as you can see, how powerful it is. Well, we have the fastest way to lose a game. I think this is still worth trying to keep, possibly. Because we have Oracle of Muldai, which allows us to play lands off the top, give us additional land plays. Roiling Regrowth, which ramps. The question is, how much pressure do they put on us early? Alright, I love the Wash Away draw, because it actually gives us an answer to this Lily. Yeah, no, I do not want to deal with that early of a Lily still. This is one of the reasons why in regular Commander you're not allowed Planeswalkers as your commander. Because they're pretty busted. Alright, we'll just land pass. Gutmon. Before that hits the board, I'll just go ahead and activate this now. Get ourselves... Or Gutmorn. I always screw up his name. Gutmorn. We'll give him the Consuming Tide, because it's a spell they don't ever really want to play against us. Okay, so they're going to duress us. Now, do they take our pact? Because if they take heretical, I don't think you want to take the pact, because if you did, there would be a huge issue. Actually, would have laughed, because this actually, if you take this, because how Gutmorn's worded, he affects the mana cost. This is a triggered ability, you'd lose the game. So, glad they didn't fall for that trap. Oh, unfortunately, we don't have a land on top. I can't use the pact. I was hoping to be able to have the one more mana so I can actually pact them.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Alright, we'll give them this back. Oh, we get the Consuming Tide back. That's great. That is not a land on top. I need land. Alright, let's go get ourselves another blue source. Oh, and I still failed to hit land. Alright, punch the lily. Because we can give up Cultivator, I'm fine with that. If they decide to use a sacrifice. Why did I let Rankle resolve? Well, I kinda have to. That's why I let it resolve. Alright, so we're all going to discard. We'll give them Azusa. Sacrifice will be Cultivator. Yeah, we are in an awkward position in this fight. Another Embrace for our opponent. I mean, Gutmorn's giving them value, but at the same time, it's kind of making things awkward for them. How do you work? Destroy all non... No, I'm not going to be able to get to that anytime soon, unfortunately. Somehow, I'm just still failing at lands. Alright, well, we'll Emerald Grove this. Get ourselves 2 lands. Alright, one gets to go into play, so this is like a Cultivate here. Go ahead and hit there again. If we end up playing Pact, we'll be down 5 mana next turn. So we'd still only have 2 mana. It actually doesn't make us go down any cards. We just cycle cards back and forth with our opponent. Do we counterspell? I don't think so. A Necroglyph. Okay. Let's give them the Pact. Let's see if they'll fall for the counterspell on it. They might just misplay. Thank you for the Cavalier. I will gladly use this. Let's see, how much mana do we have? So yeah, we can do this first. Land. Animate. Activate. That's fine. Sacrifice here. Let's get rid of Rankle. Because Rankle just hits for too much damage for us to really handle. And we want to keep our Oracle here, so no activate there. If they do kill Cavalier of Night, we can animate Azusa back to the board. Yeah, this gives +3/+1 flying and demon into addition to other types. So that means that we could play it on Cavalier, get ourselves a huge life linking bonus. Yeah, we'll counterspell that. Now you don't get the ability to swing for lots of damage. If they make a sacrifice with Lily... Yeah, because if I didn't do that, I would have just died right there, right? Oh no, I'm still dead! Because they hit the plus, draw a card, and lose a life. There we go. Good game, opponent. Yep. I forgot that that allowed you to revive any creature from your graveyard. So I did make a misplay. Not by allowing this to the board or not getting it off. Because it return target creature card from your graveyard, then it becomes a zombie. I thought it was bring back any zombie. I misread it. Alright, so we have some ramp. I think, yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Alright. Play into the north. Go find yourselves the blue-green source of land. Drawing a Cyclone Summoner was not good for us. Oh, a Thoughtseize, unfortunate. So what do they take? I think they just take the Saw It Coming, right? Yeah. They take just the guaranteed counterspell. Let's see here. Land, pass it back. Cyclone Summoner, unfortunately, not going to be very useful to us in this fight. Man, we can't counterspell that. Raise and borrow 2 board, and we'll discard Summoner.
Don't overthink things.
Go for Tatyova. Just that way we can play to the board. So we want to kind of protect our life total a bit from all their little attacks.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Discard the land. I really want to keep the land, but... Oh, if I'd kept that land! The Immortal Sun! Alright.
Fine. I know when I'm not.
That's unfortunate. Alright, so they bring it back out.
This fight finished before
We give up
brunch.
Tatyova here.
Sacrifices must be made.
I specifically brought it to the board just that way it could be a sacrifice fodder. And Immortal Sun. We have now shut you off your Planeswalker. Since I can't block you, I might as well go for your face. Sir Conrad is unfortunately a large body that does lots of damage to us. Alright, so Tatyova to board, animate the land, attack the face, can't think of anything Mono Black has against artifacts. So, block and block. I choose not to block Curse Brown Witch, just because I don't know what they're going to get. And I might as well also block the two things that, you know, hit the hardest there. Tails End, just to prevent them from being able to play that back from their graveyard. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. It's like, what could they have? It all has to be colorless cards, is the thing. Alright, this is actually really cool. So I can bounce all of these back to their hand. Topiary Stomper gets to go to the battlefield for free. And then I'll have the mana for the Disdainful Stroke. That would actually probably be more likely. You do have a point there, Birthing Potter. Alright. Full attack the face. And... oh no, that was lethal. I miscounted the damage again because I have Immortal Sun boosting my team. And there we go. We get the win out of nowhere. Oh, man. Yeah, this deck quickly does a lot of this, where suddenly you don't really have a whole lot to the board, and then you just, bam, a lethal strike. It's so good because of that. But, yeah, well played, Heretical. It was a good match. It was really close. The deck idea. It was a whole bunch of just... so Tatyova was just a whole bunch of ramp cards with counter magic and bounce. So that way I could keep people off of like their big cards, or make it so that way their early stuff gets sent back. And with only a few real like late game plays in the deck, like I actually wasn't sure how well the Immortal Sun was going to be, you know, working out for me. And then, you know, I came across the Liliana deck and drew up twice against them. So that was just a lot of luck. But it's nice to see how well just a whole bunch of ramp works with Tatyova here. And now that I think about it, actually, with how Karn Celix is worded, I don't have it, but destroy each non... oh man, I should totally have been using Karn Celix in the deck. This was a definite worthwhile craft for it. Birthing Potter, you made me think of something to make this deck even more scary. Because I'm fine with blowing up my own board, as you see most of the time our main threat is just these lands that get animated from Tatyova here. And being able to have a board wipe in blue-green, that seems terrifying. But yeah, no, this worked out really well.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch, the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video, and have a nice one.